Christoph Waltz is here. In 2010, he won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for his role as a sadistic colonel in Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Basterds. Now he stars in another Tarantino project, Django Unchained. Critics are saying that Waltz yet again runs away with the movie. He was nominated for an Oscar for his performance. I am pleased to have him back at this table. Welcome.
Thank you.
And congratulations.
Thanks very much.
So when Quentin Tarantino arrives with a part, what do you say? Let me see the script. I'm not sure you're up to this.
Well, yeah, I don't know the general case. I just know mine.
Exactly. I'm talking about yours.
And, okay, the first time it was completely different because, you know, I was presented the screenplay. I said, yeah, you're kidding me, haha. You know, what you want me to do? And he said, no, this... In this case, with Django, he said, would you mind coming up to my house? I show you something. And he put 20 pages in front of me.
On the table.
On the table,
yes.
The kitchen table.
Yes, like this.
And I said, oh, do you want me to read it? And he said,
Is this why you're here?
So I started reading it, and he was kind of hovering around, watching me. Yeah. And...
You've never seen it before?
No.
Almost hot off the printer.
Nobody. Literally out of it.
Right.
Nobody has seen it before. Yeah. So I read this, and, you know, bottom of page 1, it kind of, I start to get an inkling, and the top of page 2, I kind of feel he's trying to tell me something.
Yeah.
And telling he did. You know, and this is how, you know, that it was 20 pages. A few weeks passed. He called me up again. I read another 40 and so on until I got to the end of the script.
So what is he telling you?
Nothing. I mean, no, literally. And I didn't say anything either. Yeah. I mean, it was pretty clear. It was.
But did you know nothing about the character, or was it a description of the character?
Nothing. I knew.
You're looking at text.
I was looking at text, but I was looking at Quentin's text.
Ah.
And by now I know Quentin a little bit, and I was really touched that he trusts me with it, you know, because I could run out and alert the media.
Yeah.
No. I mean,
you could, but he knows you're not.
No, and I'm in that respect.
That's not you anyway.
Very trustworthy. So anyway, this thing was unfolding in front of me, and it kind of, you know, drew me in, sort of into the current until it swept me away.
Well, what was it that drew you in?
It was, first of all, it starts with the slaves being led, or rather driven across America or parts of it, and all of a sudden this character appears.
This is before the Civil War.
This is very short time before the Civil War, like maybe a year or a year and a half. And this character appears out of the dark, literally out of the dark, with a little lantern. So a little light dances through the dark, and from then on, everything changes.
When did he offer you the part?
That's it. That was it.
That was it.
That was the offer. And to come to think of it, we never talked about it. And in a way, up to this moment, I never thought about, true. There was no official, it was kind of a self-evidence.
Characterize him. Define him.
Quentin?
Yes.
That's almost an extremely private thing for me, because no, I can gladly say as much as Quentin really has this rock star persona, but that's just one side. I like the other side. And it's there. Yeah. And it's strong, and that's where it's all based, literally based. That's where the center is. He's not just incredibly smart. His horizon is enormous, and he can sort of fathom things or test the dark in subjects where you say, where does he have it from? because any research you do on subjects that he would kind of skim opens up a whole world for you. It's a universe.
He believes, or he says, and I know he believes, that his scripts have poetry, and he wants his actors to get the poetry. And you got it more than anybody.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I go with what's there.
Is it poetry for you?
Yes, absolutely. Because there's rhythm, there's metrum, there's images, melody, there's everything that language can do in depicting a world that is at times radically different from what we are led to believe is reality. Who can tell?
Tell me who your character is, and tell me who Django is.
The wonderful thing is, that's why I refer to this light in the dark at the very beginning. In a way, that's what this character is. He brings a
light in the dark.
A little light into the dark. And, if this light is passed from one to the other, it enlightens the area around it. And I think this was the objective of my character. Whereas Django was the person living in the dark and taking on the light, in a way.
And so you two come together.
Yeah.
To do what?
To first find 3 criminals that my character is hunting as it turns out, a bounty hunter. Mm. And once that's done, to go and liberate Django's wife.
Bad people.
Badder they are, bigger the reward.
Just tell me about that scene.
I just noticed something that I hadn't noticed before, or at least not as strongly. What I really, really liked about my character was Django says, "What's a bounty?" And he doesn't say, "You don't know what a bounty is?"
Yeah.
He says, the question was, "What's a bounty?" He says, "What a bounty is."
What's a bounty? He tells me what it is. Yeah. Now, you like that because it's just...
I like it because this is really sort of the quintessence of this whole relationship. Yeah. This is somebody who comes over from Europe for possibly very interesting reasons, given the fact that we're talking about 1858, 1859, and 10 years prior to that, a lot of interesting things happened in Europe, meaning social upheaval, revolution, and bloodbaths to thwart that revolution and all that. A lot of people had to flee. A lot of people came to America. It was, and to the north, of course, because it was a haven for people escaping oppression and seeking freedom. So that this person would import that traditional, not traditional, but by then having established itself, enlightened view of the world to a very unenlightened area of this planet or this country. That's...
Okay. Mannerisms, voice, sort of presence. Is that 99% the acting skill, or is that a lot of that was the character you read from the text?
Actually, all of it is the character
you read
that I
from
read.
The text.
Yeah, all of it.
So you read something from the text and you said, "I know exactly what to do." You didn't sit there and say, "I've got this character. I know he does these words. How do I best..."
No, I have no clue. I have no clue what to do when I read this. I see what I do as translating text into action. And in order to do that, I try to find out what it is, not how to do it. I find that how am I going to do it question, or it all depends on how you do it, I find that not only pretty boring, I find it in a way futile, because that's not how, the virtuosity of your craft is not really what's required in telling a story. It might help once in a while when you get into a tight corner, yeah, but it's in a little bit. We get that with pianists or violinists a lot, that they are technically perfect.
Right.
And, you know, even musically on an enormously high level and all that, but it's virtuoso and doesn't go beyond that. I wish I would hear one of the great pianists make a mistake once. I don't want to know that they practice a lot. I want to know how they feel about the music they're playing.
Yeah, give you an insight into the music.
Yeah, into the music, not into their technical abilities. And the same thing is true for acting. You want to give an insight into the story that's intended, and not into your technical abilities, or mostly vanities, or whatever you're proud of.
How does he direct? Is he there? Is he, you know, or by the time you hit the stage, what you are doing is, in a sense, executing his plan?
Well, I think he has a very concrete plan, and then he goes with a performance. And he abandons this plan willingly, and sometimes even happily, if the performances lead him somewhere else. That doesn't mean that he does not have a plan. He lives within this story for you know, really starting from when he puts pen to paper. And he literally does put pen to paper when he starts writing a movie.
I know, I watched him. After Inglourious Basterds, or on that performance, you had this wonderful quote, which you said, Quentin gave you back your career. What did you mean?
Actually,
correct me as you may.
I'm sorry. It's a little. I don't mean to be, you know. But I said he gave me back my vocation.
Oh, vocation, very much, and a smart correction.
Because I had my career that was puttering along,
right,
you know,
you're right,
sort of, you know, in mediocrity, and which yeah, was a lot of reason for frustration, all that. But I could make a living, a decent living, and you know, so.
You're doing television and other things in Berlin.
Television and stage, and you know, the occasional movie. But as it kind of, as the wear and tear of a somewhat quotidian existence set in over the decades, and I always tried to really put what I have at my disposal into what I do, because that's why I do it. And increasingly so, I saw that nobody cares. They're not interested in what I have. And yeah, they used it. You know, they said one of the executives, TV executives in Germany said, "Yeah, well, not him. Yeah, well, you can use him for quirky minor parts," and that hurt.
Yeah.
Because I was really not just years and years and years, but my whole everything I put in what I do. So I tried to get my own stuff together, started writing, started directing, movies falling apart for the same reason. Why would he direct? You know, he can make a living as an actor. Literally, I heard that. And I lost faith. I didn't lose my pig-headedness, but I lost faith. And all of a sudden, you know, Quentin plucks me out of that and puts me in exactly the context that I always wanted to be in. And all of a sudden, I had the feeling that yeah, what I'm after and what I have to offer is actually welcome.
And there has been a continuation of that since.
Yeah. It's really. I mean, I say that every other day. I feel like having to go down on my knees and thanking whoever it is.
I'm overwhelmed by the story because of what it, just the sheer knowing what you had put into it before, and then knowing how life is so mercurial and so, no matter how much talent you have, it is. Everybody likes to think that talent outs.
I had an extraordinary meeting about 35 years ago.
Yeah.
With Jean Dalrymple. Jean Dalrymple was a producer, and she produced all the original Roger Hammerstein on Broadway. And she was an old lady when I met her through a friend. And she stormed into the room and sat down on the chair in front of me, and her feet weren't even touching the floor. She was tiny. And she said, "So, you're an actor?" I was like, "Oh, yeah." And she said, "I can see right away that you are a fabulous actor." And I was completely flattered because I was like 20, I don't know, 2. And someone actually could see it in me without me doing anything. And then she said, "But let me tell you this. Nobody gives a shit. The only thing that matters is who do you know and who don't you know." So that was really an eye-opener, because she said it in this very, very honest but amicable and approachable way. She kind of broke it down into digestible bite size for me, because, a young actor full of verve and ambition, to be told, who cares whether you're talented or not?
It depends on who you know
and
who you don't know. Yeah. And she was right.
She was right. Now I know Quentin.
Now you know Quentin. That is exactly the end line of that story, isn't it? Now I know Quentin. But it's also a whole range of other people too who've played a role too, who come in, who understand, and who contribute to this kind of thing that make Quentin who Quentin is. Yeah,
true. No, that's what in the end makes a culture.
Yeah. It's amazing to me. So when you look at where you are, what are the choices you have to make?
There are geographical choices to be made. You
still live in Berlin?
Well, I kind of fluctuate now and then. Given the 10,000 miles in between, it's an arduous endeavor. But then there's a choice. Do I bring my family to the U.S., which most probably will happen sooner or later, but what does that do to family life, to my daughter, who would love it, but I'm not sure that she would love it for the reasons that I would love it for.
I have a friend who moved back to the United States, and he was very worried about how his kids would adopt, having lived in France for 6 or 7 years. Now they were like early teens. And he was worried to death that they would adopt to the United States. He said to me, it took them 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. I spoke to the general consul in Los Angeles, the German one, though, and he said, "I've been here for so many years now, and my children grew up here, and one of them plays the harmonica, And then one day she was practicing, and she was practicing America the Beautiful. I knew it was time to go back home."
That's great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's always great to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much.